Hello, Carol. We're John Cena. He's Bond, Diabate Bond. And I'm Kurt of Plurbs. This is Kurt's Plurbs. What up, lunatics? Kurt Money here to talk about episode 6 of the Plurbs, HDP. What's that stand for? Let the blurbs begin. Blurb number 1.
Silent Green is people!
We guessed it. Carol was gasping at the sight of human remains in the freezer. And actually, the head that she's freaking out about, this head is Vince Gilligan's head. Learned this on the pod. Great fact. He calls it his Hitchcock cameo.
By the way, this is my Alfred Hitchcock cameo moment. I don't think I've ever been in an episode of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or El Camino.
Blurb number 2. Carol's not locked in. Woohoo! God, I was so relieved to see her run outside the people processing plant, and then was right back to being worried when she ran back in there with the camera to get it all on tape. Alas, she does make it home, so I think we're safe from the door, for now. Blurb number 3, cameos galore. It's not just Vince Gilly that gets a cameo in here, okay? We got a lot of celeb impersonators in this Vegas party. There's an Elvis, of course, but there's also Audrey Hepburn, Joan Baez, and Bob Dylan. Now, on the pod, they also said that Angela Davis and Bruce Lee are in there somewhere, which I do not see them, but I do see Diabaté Bond. Which brings us to blurb number 4. Damn you, Diabate. Hey dude, I'm glad you're having fun with your little Casino Royale cosplay here and the many photo shoots, but when are you gonna see the light? I knew the second that Carol found frozen chunks of people in with the food that no one was gonna give two hoots about it. It's especially clear when she shows up in Vegas, she's doing this big build up to a huge reveal. As soon as she starts saying stuff like this,
I bet they didn't tell you why I was coming. There's no way in hell they did. You're gonna need something stronger than champagne when you see what I brought.
I knew that Diabate already knew about the body grubbing, and he didn't care at all.
What you were about to witness...
Is this about them eating people?
What?
It is troubling.
In real talk, this frustrates the hell out of me on behalf of Carol. It doesn't frustrate me as a viewer of this TV show, but I've really had it up to here and how they managed to make everything about how Carol is awful to them.
Also, our non-English speakers were perhaps a bit offended that you did not invite them to join us in Spain. I'm sorry, Carol. Ultimately, this is not about you.
Oh, so now the other part of the 12 that weren't invited to the Air Force One get together, they're mad that Carol didn't invite them. Hey, all the other people at the table, you could have invited them. This was not a Carol sends the invites only party. And wait, one more thing on the Bond part. You know, I said Casino Royale, but this is probably more Dr. No or Goldfinger. But the score had some hella Bond vibes, which you kind of hear in the clip. But when you play it at double speed, it sounds like the Bond theme a ton. Blurb number 5, not John Cena. This was a welcome cameo, even though it's a bummer to know that in this world, Cena's been hived.
Hello, Carol. We're John Cena.
This video was hilarious too. How he was all like, that sounds great, doesn't it? Well, here's the one downside. This whole cheery bit in front of a green screen, it reminds me big time of the putty video that you have to watch before riding Soarin' over California at Disney. I feel like I've made that comparison before and recently. I'm shocked at how many mind grapes are occupied by this putty video talking about Soarin', but they're in there. Anyway, back to the Plurbs. That video is a lot like this video, except for John Cena's like, yeah, sorry, gonna eat you because we gotta.
Human-derived protein. And yep, that's pretty much what it sounds like.
Blurb number 6. Diabate is gonna crack. I know he's having a blast now and is so willingly drinking the Pod Peep Kool-Aid. I think he's gonna come around based on the scene of him making breakfast for Carol and how he's like watching her and he's fascinated by the way that she eats the breakfast. Like she like stacks it like a Sammy, right? And so he tries it and he's like, oh, hey, that was pretty good. Well, guess what? As soon as Carol leaves, he's not gonna be surprised like that or surprised by anything ever again because everything he enjoys is a script that he has to write, okay? So nothing can happen like this spontaneously. I mean, just think about his Bond party, right? Everything he experiences, he has to tell them how he wants it down to the last detail. Everybody's playing along, right? He's got the babes on the shoulders going, you sure? That's not a smart play.
Vous êtes sûr?
That's a scripted line. And then the villain that he beats, like he starts cheering, saying, hey, good job, good job. And Diabate's got to be like, hey, dude, stick to the script.
Reste dans ton personnage.
He's going to get sick of this eventually. Blurb number 7. The Pod Peeps aren't so perf, are they? Turns out, since they won't willingly end a life, whether it be like a plant or a seed or a veggie or whatever,
Maybe tell him to pick a fucking apple.
they will eventually be extinct in 10 years. So remind me again, Pirate Lady, why you think Carol would be so happy to be one of you.
So now I'm drowning?
You just don't know it.
I don't think so. And they know it too. That's why they want their space still.
Our feelings for you haven't changed, Carol. But after everything that's happened, we just need a little space.
I love that every time we hear that voice, we hear it from the beginning to end just like Carol does. Not even the audience gets a hard cut to 10 seconds later. But as we learn from Diabaté at the car, it's not just that the Pod Peeps want their space from Carol. Okay? It's not like their feelings are hurt and they're recovering. He makes it clear they're not going to come back around until Carol's on board with their mission.
They want to come back, Carol. They're just looking for a change of heart.
So she's got to hear that voicemail every single time to leave a message to ask for something. They're doing this on purpose to annoy Carol. Hence, blurb number 8. The Pod Peeps are up to something. They're terrified of what Carol can ask them. That's why they're keeping it at arm's length. I feel like Pod Peeps are all about loopholes, and one they're going to exploit for this stem cell biz is potentially the fact that Carol's got a frozen egg out there somewhere.
I could have saved that $100,000 and frozen my eggs right here, jokes and all.
Now, I didn't remember this frozen egg bit. I saw this in a comment on Trakt, so credit where it's due. But I can feel the Pod Peeps doing something with that. And that's part of the mind games of this voice message.
Our feelings for you haven't changed, Carol.
I remember on a recent Plurbs vid that I did, someone commented that they worked in the banking industry, and this was a ploy that banks used with customer service. They would repeat the same message over and over again just so the person would finally be like, fine, whatever. So what's that tell you? Banks, shady. But Pod Peeps, super shady. Luckily, we got blurb number 9. Manousos is en route. After what was, admittedly, a devastating 40 minutes of Carol being heartbroken and lonely and pretending she was joking even though she totally wasn't,
I'm just messing with you.
we finally get some good news, and that is that Manousos got the tape, watched it, and it was translated, and it looks, by all accounts, that he's packing up and on his way to see Carol. We also learned that his mom was a total bee.
Mi mamá es una cabrona.
That was pretty funny, and like, yeah, take that, Pod People, and Manousos' mom, R.I.P. Will he get to Carol's door by the next episode? I don't know. We've got 3 left this season. I mean, he left 3 days before Carol's whole Vegas trip, so could he get to Albuquerque in 3 days? I don't know. I mean, not in this jalopy. Maybe he's got a pilot license hidden up there, and part of this journey he's going to be flying. And also, I know he's going to Carol because he takes with him this book or book of tapes, maybe, that if Google Translate is correct at all, he's going to learn English on the way. Either way, there's good stuff on the horizon for Carol and Manousos. I feel it because they deserve a win, and we deserve to watch it happen. I know that critics were given the first 7 episodes of the show. Okay, so all but 2. And I remember reading a review where one of them was like, I cannot wait to see what happens after episode 7, which means next week is going to end on a hell of a cliffhanger. So I think prepare for that. Finally, Kurt's Plurbs, Burbs, Blurb. As noted earlier, Vince Gilligan's head makes a cameo in this episode. He talks about it on the podcast, and he is listed in the description just by his first name, Vince, which also, coincidentally, is the name of the Peterson's dog in the Burbs. That one's kind of weak and a bit of a stretch, but it counts, damn it, to Bit Boat.